Hi, it's Chris Beesley here, and I just thought we'd shoot this quick video today. I'm here at the Royal Berkshire Health and Rackets Club with Stuart Ross, and Stuart has been working on the internet now for quite a few years.
3 years, approaching 3 years.
3 years, and I think we could safely say he's pretty successful at it.
Well, thank you, Chris.
What's your background, just very quickly?
Well, I literally quit college at 18. I came from a family background where all my sisters, or I say all my sisters, two sisters, two brothers, parents were always very much focused on our education, always pushed us to do our best, and unfortunately I was, dare I say, probably the one that took the least out of that motivation from my parents, and was not necessarily a dropout, but I certainly didn't try anywhere near as hard at school. My reports, let's say, weren't as shining as what they would have liked them to have been, and but I was very much into sport at that time, and big priority for me was my social life. And at 18, I finally found out that I would need to get into the big wide world, and got my first job. And that job happened to be in a estate agency, real estate. Loved it for the first few years. I was working right from the word go, including photocopying and all the rest of it. I was doing over 70 hours a week. I was working weekends, but I really loved it because it was different to what I was used to. I was actually taking a pay packet at the end of it. And you know, when I first got started and I was getting into the sales environment and doing viewings on the properties and dealing with customers, I very much enjoyed it, and that lasted until I was about 26.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and then a big change.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my big motivation for looking at other opportunities, it certainly wasn't to turn to the internet and make my money online. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. What I did know is that I was getting more and more tired each week, less and less motivated. My view of living paycheck to paycheck was getting I was getting rather tired of it.
Right.
I was finding that I had more month than money, which was
we've always had that problem.
which was never ideal. But the honest situation was I wanted more free time. Having, as I said before, being very much into sport and keeping fit, I'd lost all of that. I'd gone from, you know, doing lots of activities and being very active in my teens to, you know, nearly 8 years of almost not being active at all, and lack of energy and real drive to do those sort of things. So to me, the big thing that I wanted to find was a way of getting some time back.
Okay, so Susan and I met you about 12 months ago, and you've been a great mentor to us, and helped us get started online. You've helped us take some great shortcuts and things. What do you think are the benefits of having a mentor?
Well, I'd definitely say, from my point of view, and certainly something I've learned from coaching and training people, is the biggest advantage of having a mentor is, my number one big advantage would be not having to make the mistakes that many people would normally make.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you go online, or if you go into any business and you're blind and you don't have the guidance from people that have already done that, you're going to make more mistakes.
Yeah.
I think it's very naive for anyone to think that they can go into business and not make any mistakes. But avoiding mistakes can be a huge factor in the speed of success that you can have. Now, I don't believe that anyone should ever have just one mentor or one guide. I think it's important that you, in your life, in all circumstances throughout your life, you have guidance from people. And something that I very much took heed of was, right from the word go, is that if you want to learn how to do something, you find the people that are brilliant at what they do and cheat and copy them.
Absolutely right.
So, you know, I really did my homework. I did my research, my due diligence, and eventually I found 2 or 3 people who I really felt that I could trust in the internet marketing world. I picked their brains, and more importantly than anything, I looked at what they did and quite simply copied it. And I think, you know, for me, if you were to ask me what the number one advantage of having a mentor, that would be what it is.
It's duplication. It certainly makes life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
But also, just being a mentor, what do you expect back from your mentees, if we can call them that?
Absolutely. Well, you know, I think the number one thing that anyone can do is take action. And you know, I've coached and trained now hundreds of people over the last few years, and there's no doubt about it that I've seen a very mixed bag of results. And you know, if I look at the most successful of my students, I have to be honest, they're not necessarily the smartest, they're not necessarily the best looking, they're not necessarily the brains of Britain, you know, but one thing that they all have in common is to take action. And I think as a mentor, there's nothing more frustrating than when you give your time, because time is probably my most important asset to me. It's the thing that I value more than anything. There's no monetary value as far as I'm concerned on my time, and everything that I do now in business, being here with you now, coaching and training with my team, it's to leverage my situation, to leverage my business. And you know, I think that the fact is that when you give somebody your time and they then choose not to take action on it, it can be fairly frustrating. So I think, you know, the one thing that I ask for from any of my students is for them to take action. Okay, well, thanks very much for that, Stuart. And we're just going to sign out now, and so we hope you enjoy this video, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.